During the first half of the 1700s, several of the large estates of Skåne belonged to the Barnekow family, or more accurately to Lady Margareta Barnekow, the foremost representative of the Barnekow family. Margaret was the daughter of the renowned commander and governor-general Count Rutger von Ascheberg, and married to Colonel Kjell Christopher Barnekow. She was a widow by the age of 29 and took personal control over many of her properties. She worked tirelessly, showed indomitable courage, and never failed in caring for all the numerous people who worked and lived on her farms. One evening, while on a trip between two of her estates, Lady Margareta arrived at Fjelkinge Inn and insisted on sleeping in a room called the Ghost Room. A few years earlier, a traveler stayed in that same room and had been murdered, or at least the man and his things were gone without a trace, and no one really knew what had taken place. But after that, the room was haunted, and those who knew it would rather travel in the dark to a more distant inn than stay in the ghost room. Margareta Barnekow was not among their number. She had shown more courage than that, and, without fear, chose to sleep in that haunted room. She left the lamp burning, and after her evening prayer she went to sleep. At the stroke of midnight she woke to the sound of floorboards being pushed up by a bloody figure with a split head hanging down upon his shoulder. "Noble lady," whispered the ghost, "prepare for me, a murdered man, a place in a Christian cemetery, and bring my murderer to justice." God-fearing and undaunted, Lady Margareta waved the ghost closer, who told her that he had several times made that same plea, but no one had had the courage to follow through and grant his request. But Lady Margareta took a golden ring from her finger, laid it in the gaping wound, and bound the phantom's head with her handkerchief. With a look of indescribable gratitude, the ghost whispered the name of his murderer and silently vanished under the floor. The next morning, Lady Margareta called the sheriff and his men to the inn, recounted what had happened the night before, and told them to break up the floorboards in her room. Underneath they found a half-decomposed corpse, with her ring in the skull, and her handkerchief bound about the head. At the sight, one of the men present turned pale and swooned, falling to the ground. When he came to his senses again, he confessed that he had murdered the man and taken his possessions. For his crime, he was sentenced to die, and the victim was given his grave in the Socken cemetery. The ring, which has a peculiar shape and is set with a large gray stone, is said to still be kept by the Barnekow family, and is believed to possess the power to work miracles against disease, fire, and other misfortune. They say that when someone in the family dies, a red spot, like blood, appears on the stone.